Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're back in the kitchen and I'm going to teach you how to make skillet cornbread. Now homemade cornbread is delicious and it is especially good in the winter when everybody wants soup and cornbread or some kind of comfort food to get through all this cold weather. So watch how we do our skillet cornbread and you'll never want to make it another way. All right, so the star of the show is the iron skillet. This one has been in the family for many, many years. It was my father-in-law's mother's skillet. Who knows whose before that. The only marking is the letter G on the bottom. It's about a 10-inch skillet and it's well seasoned. So we're also gonna do about a half cup of shortening or Crisco, and we're gonna separate this in just a minute and put some of it in our skillet to get nice and hot. We're gonna melt the rest of it. We also have 3 large eggs. We do have self-rising cornmeal. You can also get just regular cornmeal that's not self-rising. And if you do, that's going to alter how much baking soda and salt that you have. We also have a cup of that, the cup of the cornmeal, and a cup of all-purpose or plain flour. You could also substitute that for self-rising flour. So depending on which of your flours and cornmeals have self-rising, that's going to change how much baking soda and salt that you use. Because I'm using plain flour and self-rising cornmeal, I'm only using 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda and about a half teaspoon of salt. If neither of these had self-rising in them, then you would use 3 teaspoons of baking soda and a half teaspoon of salt, maybe 3/4 a teaspoon of salt. If they both have self-rising, if you used self-rising flour and self-rising cornmeal, then you would not need the baking soda or salt at all. So I hope that's not too confusing, but depends on what type of cornmeal and flour that you use. We also are using a 1/4 cup of granulated white sugar, and we have a cup of milk. Now I did put about half of this with buttermilk and the other half with whole milk, but you can just do all milk. So I know all of that sounded really confusing, but generally you have your shortening, your eggs, your baking soda, salt, sugar, cornmeal, flour, and milk. It's really not as complicated as it sounds. We are preheating our oven to 425 degrees. First thing I do is take about a tablespoon of our shortening and put it in our pan, and we're gonna put this in the oven to get hot. What we're gonna do is combine our dry ingredients. So I've got a cup of our self-rising cornmeal, a cup of all-purpose or plain flour, our baking soda and salt. I did about 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, about a half teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. We're gonna combine our dry items here. Just give them a nice stir, and then we're going to add our milk. I did a whole milk buttermilk combination. Just find it's a little bit richer with the buttermilk. I'm gonna give that a stir. It's gonna get a little bit thicker, but not too bad. And in the meantime, I went ahead and melted our Crisco or shortening in the microwave, the remaining Crisco. And I have it ready, it's all liquefied here. I'm gonna pour that over here, over the batter in just a minute as the last step after I add our eggs. All right, we're gonna beat our eggs real quick. Give them a quick stir. These are 3 room temperature large eggs. I'm gonna add them to our batter. Give that a quick stir. And the cornmeal does come in white or yellow cornmeal. You can use either one, whichever one's your preference. I usually use white, but you can use either one. It's just the type of corn that was grown. All right, once this is well combined, as you can see, it kind of makes almost like a cake batter. All right, next I'm going to add in our melted Crisco. It looks a little funny, but trust me, it's going to make it really good. And we also melted a little bit, about a tablespoon of Crisco in the pan in the oven, so that the pan will be nice and hot and well coated when we pour this in the hot iron skillet. All right. So now we are ready to add this to our skillet. So our skillet is nice and hot, and as you can see, it has the melted oil in it. So I just like to kind of give it a little ring around to make sure it's well coated all the way around. We're going to put this in the hot oil in the skillet. All right, so we're going to put it in the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes. All right, you guys, our skillet cornbread is done. You can tell it's done because it's lightly brown, firm to the touch, and it has slightly pulled away from the edge when it's complete. It looks and smells delicious. All right, there's our homemade skillet cornbread. It looks and smells delicious. We hope you like it. If you do, please make sure to comment down below, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Like and subscribe!
I want you guys to see how nice and smooth this cornbread comes out of this pan. It's not crumbly, which is one reason why I really, really like it. All right, the skillet cornbread comes out of this skillet so easy and beautiful, and it cuts like a dream, and it doesn't crumble, which is one of the reasons why I love cooking in the cast iron. You guys are gonna love cooking with cast iron. If you don't already, I highly recommend it. Get you a pan, read all about how to season it, and then use it all the time. Let's take a bite of our cornbread. It's delicious. Would even be better if we even had honey butter to put on it, or if you crumbled it up and put it in some chili. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.